Okay. We've got 11 students with us at this point.
Okay. Well, we're almost to the hour.
Yeah. There comes another one. Let me see. Let me see who's with us. Okay, I see. Daryl's with us. Jenna, Jennifer, KCK, Lisa, Nicole, Shamika, Tasha. Okay. And Danielle. Danielle's with us. Okay. Well, it's 7 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started, Dr. Revis. For those that
Okay.
that are on time, if you would just bring a welcome, Dr. Revis, at this time.
Well, welcome to week 14. This semester has seemed to have flown. Maybe not for you, but it sure has for us. And here we are in the last couple final weeks. And Dr. Stedman, I have about 4 of my students have already put their tasks 1 through 4 together and been in turn it in. And I've already had one person finish the evaluation process and scored a 4. So yay.
Yeah.
We like to see those 4s. We share in your joy with 4s. Anyway, we extend the deadline for your task 3 only because last week most of you all were out of school and didn't have a chance to have that presentation with your admin teams and your school improvement team, if that's possible. So Thursday, though, we would expect you to have that task 3 finished and back into us. If for some reason that doesn't work, you need to email us. At this point, we are rocking and rolling to the end, and you've got to stay up with us the last week, 2 weeks. But guys, you've almost made it, and we're so excited for you.
That's right. Thank you, Dr. Revis. And everything that she said, I say the same thing. And I want to say I've got several that are right at the point of a final submission for everything. But I'm going to just call a name. Daryl, congratulations. You were my first, and you came out with a 4, and I'm so proud of you. Daryl has finished everything on my end. And I don't know where he is with you, Dr. Revis, but I know his work ethic, and I know if he's not there, he's almost there, because I've seen his work ethic this semester.
Yeah, he's been working on his portfolios. Okay, since you called a name, I've got to call out too, because I know Jamie's on here.
Yeah.
He's also completed and scored a 4. So congratulations, Jamie.
Yes. And we're expecting lots. Well, we want all 4s again this semester. I mean, this time, but we're expecting you to finish the end well. That's what we want. Let's talk briefly about what this evening's going to look like. And again, if there's some of you on here that you say that I don't need this, and you get to a point and you know that you're at that point, you're not going to hurt Dr. Revis and my feelings at all by signing off, because you've got other things that you need to do, whether it's finishing up with some of the things for us, or it could be that you've got some other things work related that you need to do. I'm not going, you won't hurt our feelings if you are where Daryl and Janie are, then by all means, you feel free to do that. We are going to talk about just a few things, responsibility things that we want to talk about. Comments about, we've talked about task 3 already. And Dr. Revis, again, due no later than Thursday, April 15th. As soon as you can on April the 15th, that gives Dr. Revis and me an opportunity to go ahead. And we've looked at, for most of you, we've looked at what task 3 looks like without your administrative presentation and faculty presentation. So when we go in, we don't have to go back and look at the whole thing over again. We just have to look at the fact that you have done what you needed to do, you know, with the presentations. And then, so it won't take us long once you submit it to us to give you permission, hopefully, to just move on. And from that point, it will say, you know, put it all together for the Turnitin process. Do not turn it in until you have submitted it back under task 4 for Dr. Revis and me to say, you're good to go. Simply because if you turn it in first and there are issues, there's no turning back with that. We can't change that. And we can go back and tell you that you need to fix something, but Turnitin is over with. You have one opportunity with Turnitin, and so let us tell you that it's okay to send it there. It probably, if you think it's ready, it probably is ready, but just don't take that chance and let us tell you on that. Dr. Revis, I think I've gotten all of task 4 from my students. I'm waiting on 1. So you need to go ahead and knock that out if you haven't done that, and you know, get it to us. And remember that you have to do the 9 that you did not complete with the AAPTEL on that. Talked about Turnitin already.
And if I may jump in here, Dr.
Go ahead. Yes.
And just like, don't submit to Turnitin until we give you the go ahead. Don't submit to Taskstream until we give you the go ahead. So, you know, we will try. I'm looking at work 3 and 4 times a day at this point. So, you know, we'll try to move you through this process as quickly as possible, but don't skip over these steps. Wait for us to give you the green light to go ahead and do Turnitin and Taskstream.
Right. And just remember that once we do tell you to turn it into Taskstream for a final grade, once you get your grade back, if everything's good, and it has to be a 3 or above, we don't want any 3s, we want all 4s, but if it has a 3 or above, then we'll say something back, you know, congratulations on the job well done, something of that nature. And then what you need to do is, well, no, you have to submit your AAPTEL final grade screenshot. That's when we make that comment. So just know that once you put it in Taskstream, there's one more thing that you've got to do in Blackboard for us, and that is the final grade screenshot that you have to put in there. Any questions from anybody about what to do about putting it all together into one document? You do it just like you did the AAPTEL. You know, with your cover page that talks about it being evidence to the AAPTEL. Then you your school profile, and then you task 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your reference section, combined reference section, and then your combined appendices at the end. So it's the same process that you did with the app. So are there any questions, though, before we move on about putting it into one document? Okay.
And one comment, just make sure that when you're putting everything together that you number your figures consecutively. Just check those numbers, both within your narrative and, of course, in your appendices.
Okay. Taskstream requirements. Dr. Revis, would you like to mention about that again?
I think I have all, but maybe 2 or 3 of your students who've already begun working on the competency folio. So That's great. Guys, remember, you're building a competency folio with artifacts that demonstrate your leadership outside of the classroom. I mean, we know your leaders in the classroom, but these artifacts must demonstrate your leadership outside of the classroom. You should talk about, if you're doing an open-ended, that should be something you're pulling from your internship activities, what you're doing there for school-wide leadership. And of course, you already have many artifacts that you can pull from your APSL and APTEL. Don't do double work. Use the artifacts you've already created. And if you will go on your left-hand tab to the Mel's Handbook and Competency Folio, there is a document there, and it's called Artifacts from the Six Evidences, I believe. And it tells you exactly which artifacts from the APSL and APTEL, excuse me, align to which competencies. Now, remember that we don't want to see the same artifact more than twice for your competencies, your 21. So you cannot overuse one artifact more than twice.
And Dr. Revis, I don't even like to see it twice. I will accept it because Dr. Lamb says,
Yeah,
I don't like to even see it twice, but I mean, I will accept it.
plan those out. You've got plenty. You've got plenty to do the majority of your competency artifacts from your APSL and APTEL. And then after you do that, you've got your competency analysis and the School of Ed dispositions. Guys, those are self-assessments. Remember, this is your first semester, so you don't need to mark yourself real high. You just need to meet expectations and move on. Now, if you do mark yourself high, you've got to provide a justification. If not, just go on with it. And then the last thing that you have to do is your internship logs, and we haven't talked about that a lot. So let's take a moment and talk about that. You have to have documented 80 hours for your internship log for this semester. And you need to have your administrator, your site mentor, sign off on it. Physically sign off on it. It can be an electronic signature, but it needs to be at least an electronic signature. And you will upload that in your competency folio. If you scroll all the way down, you will upload it right there. It's a place to drop your semester logs. Okay. But be sure, if you don't have a signature, I'll send it back and send it back. So you may say, well, shoot, I'll just wait. No, we want a signature every semester, because you don't even know if that person's going to be at that school when 2 semesters from now, or even next semester. So be sure and do that. And that should take care of all your requirements in Taskstream. Are there any questions on those 4 things?
When we're doing our internship logs, do we need to provide evidence of the time and stuff that we're doing, or just make sure that it's marked and it's signed off on?
You just have it listed there and signed off. Your evidence really is your mentor's signature.
Okay.
And it's, Tasha, it's the date. It's the date, it's the activity itself, and the hour or 2 hours that you put into it, and then you add them all together. Don't leave it there for Dr. Revis and me to add. Make sure that you add it. Now, we may go back and look and see if something doesn't look right, but as a general rule, that shouldn't be what we have to do. You should have looked at you should have done that when you submit it to us. Okay.
And at the beginning of the semester, I know that Dr. Lamb talked about this. What if you get 90 hours this semester? Does that mean next semester you only have to do 70? And of course, the answer is no. You have to do at least 80 per semester. So it doesn't, I don't care if I see 100, but I want to see 80, and I want to see it tallied at the bottom. Yeah, I don't like having a tally. Oh, I'll send it back. And
yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so everybody knows what your final task stream responsibilities are. Okay, and I'm going to talk about that with some upcoming responsibilities down at the bottom. Let's look at next week is week 15 on Monday. Notice it's not Tuesday, on Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. Dr. Lamb is sponsoring your final town hall for this semester. I would highly, highly recommend that you attend that. Very, very informative. You will get a great jump start on what your summer is going to look like. And I'm actually going to show you something in a minute that will be to your advantage to go ahead and, as soon as you get through with our work, begin downloading some of those things and begin working on them prior to the summer start. Summer's very short. You don't have 16 weeks, you have 10 weeks. And so you've got 2 evidences to do in 10 weeks versus 2 evidences to do in 16 weeks. So how Dr. Revis and I have pushed you, I mean, you are really going to have to ball to jack this summer to keep up. But you can do it. I mean, you know what's expected of you now, so you can do it. I'll talk more about that in just a minute. And then I'll look at week 15 and 16, the next Tuesday night, and then our last Tuesday night. I want to talk about that as well, but I want to go down to our yellow section and focus on that, or our colored section. Let's look at, okay, task 3 of the AAPTEL, as we have already said, is due to the assignment Dropbox. We said by 9 p.m. on that Thursday. However, if you can get it to us before then, please do. Make sure you have presented to your principal and to a team of your teachers from the school, maybe the school improvement team, if possible. And if you can't meet with the staff or SIT team, at least present to your PLC and provide a disclaimer if the principal does not allow you to make a faculty presentation. But you've got to present, you've got to show evidence that you have presented it to at least those 2 entities, your administration and your administration and your staff presentation may be the same thing. If it is, then you need to indicate that I presented to my administration and my staff at the same time. And some people have presented some good narrative work, what that presentation looked like, Dr. Revis, and you know, some of the comments that were made, some very positive comments that were made from that. Let's look at the final AAPTEL. We have to put a time in there because we know that time is running out. And unless you have made arrangements with Dr. Revis and me otherwise, we're saying that you're fine. And this is going to be a little bit contrary to what is showing. Because we extended task 3, I went in there and looked at that, Dr. Revis. So no later than week 14, 4/18. Now you notice, and the 18th is on what day? I'm not even, anybody got a calendar in front of you?
The 18th is Sunday.
It's okay. Is that the 18th is on Sunday? Okay. We must have that final AAPTEL by the end of next week. That gives us time to look at it and to see if there are issues. There it is right there, the 21st, Dr. Revis. That's where, I'm sorry, that's for our review, and we want it submitted by the 21st. That's what we want. We need it by the 18th, and then we need it no later than the 21st submitted by 9 a.m. that morning, not in the afternoon or not at night, but that morning. And if there are issues otherwise, it's your responsibility to work with Dr. Revis and me personally, one-on-one with that. Otherwise, we're holding you to these deadlines. We have to, because after it goes out of our hands, it's got to go into the hands of evaluators, and remember, evaluators, they've got not just your work coming in, they've got lots of work coming in. So we have to be aware of that. So Dr. Revis, is that clear what I just said about those dates?
Yes, so guys, you know, if you're one of the people that are waiting on your administrator this Thursday, you're gonna have to really turn it around. You're gonna have to get your task 3 reviewed and finalized, put it all together, get it for our review by Sunday evening, and then turn around and be ready to submit the final to Taskstream. So, you know, we're going to be turning it back and forth around quickly.
And I'm going to tell you, work smart. While you're doing all this, go ahead and start putting it together like it needs to be put together, and just making edits and revisions as you need to, so that when that last day comes, all you've got to do is make sure that it's correct, and then, you know, save it and submit it. That's all you've got to do then, if you're working smart. Don't make it a big task at the end when you can go ahead and be working on that now. Let's go back to the competencies again. We have to give a deadline date on that as well. Now, we're asking you, we're saying that, you know, we need to see as much as we can from everybody by the end of this week. Now, that means that everybody needs to submit something substantial for Dr. Revis and me to look at. If you have not submitted anything, then we need to see something, or you need to talk with us, okay? You cannot wait until the last week and expect to do a quality job on this. You've got a lot of this done already, as Dr. Revis said. You just need to take the time to work it out. And I know this is a lot, but you know, it just comes with the territory, and you're going to have to do this every semester all over again. So just know that this is not a one-time thing. You're going to do it next semester, and you're going to do it your final semester. Had someone to send me a message this week, and I just need to make sure you understand that you have to talk about all, you have to provide artifacts for all 21 competencies. All 21 competencies must be completed for your folio. Now let's look at week 15 and 16. That's next week and your last week. There will not be a formal Zoom class for week 15 and 16. However, Dr. Revis and I are going to come online on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. And those that need to come online, you come online, and we will talk with you and talk you through anything that we need to talk with you about at that point. If you have completed your work and you don't need to come online, you're welcome to join us. We'd love to say hello to you and see you, but you don't have to. However, week 16 will be our last time together. Dr. Revis and I would love for you to come on just for a few minutes, and we would like for you to think about, you know, you've finished this first semester. We'd like for you to talk about your experience this semester and share with others, you know, to be able to talk about it just briefly for a few minutes and shed some light on this experience with Dr. Revis and me. Dr. Revis and I are always open for suggestions. We know that we push hard. We know that we ask a lot. We have to. But if you as a student see anything that you think that we could do differently another semester that would make a difference, by all means, let us know. We are open and willing to accept you know, recommendations from you. We're not above students saying, you know, have you ever thought about this? So just please know that we will welcome that. And
I've got
then,
one question.
Go ahead, Dr.
We've
Revis.
got one question in the chat box, if we could talk about that just briefly.
Okay.
Clarification on the digital competency labels in your competency artifacts. Guys, anytime you don't upload an artifact under digital competency, those digital competencies are woven all through the other 20. So if you do an artifact that's digital in any way, then on the label, you put the words digital competency. That's all you have to do. And I don't know if we can get Anara's up to show you what that looks like or not, Dr. Stedman.
But and if not, they've got it.
They've got it. It's
It's
in the,
yeah, and it's under week 14, under week 13 as well, I think. Let me go back to week 13 and then I'll pull that. Let me go see.
yeah, I think it's also over there on your left-hand side of the male's
It is.
competency folio.
It is. There it is.
Yeah.
Under week 13.
I'm impressed, Dr. Stedman, that you can remember what weeks these things are in.
I've been doing it for a long time.
See, there it is. See how she's just gone in and labeled digital learning? That's all you got to do. Okay.
Okay. Now, when I do this, I'm scared if I hit something. There it is. Okay. I'm always scared I'm going to go out completely sometime if I hit the wrong thing. And again, Anara's is a great example. Pull it up and, you know, use it as a model. Again, we want to talk about just briefly. I'm not going to go into any of this, but Dr. Lamb is he's going to next Monday. I'm going to tell you, he loves 601. He loves 605, but he lives and breathes for 603. 603 is what he loves more than eating, and he loves to eat. So just know that 603 is his passion, and am I right, Dr. Revis? I mean, and you're going to hear it when it's like he's at the pulpit preaching. I mean, he is in his glory when he gets with 603. So you're going to experience Dr. Lamb in his glory on Monday night. But what we've done under week 14, these are the textbooks that you're going to need for 603. It's already in there. But then what we've done, we've given you some sneak stuff to begin with. All of these are case studies and activities that you will be responsible for doing in 603. So what I would encourage you to do is I would go ahead and begin looking at some of those things when you get a chance. And then I don't know how much of this is going to be available to you after the semester's over with. I would encourage you to just download, copy whatever you need from this so that you will have some materials that you can begin working on prior to class beginning in the summer. And you'll be surprised if you'll do 2 or 3 of these ahead of time. You'll be surprised how much it's going to help you, you know, with all the work that you've got to do this summer. But we put this in here on purpose, and he's going to talk about it he'll talk about all of this on Monday evening. So I would again highly encourage you to be there. Dr. Revis, any comments about this?
Well, and down there in these materials, you see the OMA. It stands for Organizational
Management Analysis.
And that's your first evidence that you're going to have to do. So I would go ahead and pull that up and start familiarizing myself with that. And you do have a template there, and there's an example there of task 1. And then an OMA example. So, you know, like Dr. Stedman says, once the semester closes out, you don't have do they have 2 weeks in between semester? They start right in.
Yeah.
And so that gives you some time to you need to start working on that OMA as quickly as possible. And guys, it's the same thing you've been doing. Learn to unpack your template and learn to unpack that rubric, just like you do when you're looking at your teaching standards. It's the same thing. And you know the format that we've used in both the APTEL and AAPTEL, very similar format.
Thank you, Dr. Revis. And again, looking at this as an archived video from last year, but Dr. Lamb in here is talking about task stream requirements that we've talked about. So if you've got any questions about anything, then click on that and listen to what Dr. Lamb has to say in this video as well. It will help you as you're completing your task stream requirements.
Guys, I'm excited for you that you're ending up here and have been so successful and have done some really outstanding work this semester. I know that many of you have had family illnesses, deaths in the family, and have had all kinds of struggles with COVID and teaching remotely, face-to-face, hybrid, whatever. But you guys have produced some really outstanding work. And I'm not just saying that. I mean every word of it. Or everybody wouldn't have gotten a 4. I mean, evaluators just don't give those away.
Right. And Shantae asked the question, when does the summer start? Classes actually start on the 17th of May. For some, it'll start on the 17th of May. Based on if you've got Dr. Lamb, it's going to be on Wednesday. I don't know who will have Dr. Lamb, but most of the other 603 instructors, he encourages them to go on Wednesday as well. He doesn't make them, but he encourages them. So most of them will do Wednesday class, I would assume. You'll hear that. But anyway, everything starts the week of the 17th, and you will know which night your professor is going to have class, once Blackboard is released for you with the new class assignments. Pretty much, probably, Shantae, it's going to be the 19th, probably, of May. Are there other questions at this point?
We've got one question that Danielle, can we start our internships hours earlier than May 17th?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Look for every opportunity you can. Once you turn this internship log in, go ahead and begin looking for every opportunity you can, because 10 weeks will go by very, very fast. However, those of you that now, a lot of you may be involved in summer school because of that summer school initiative. I don't know. If you do, then that is an opportunity to assist with getting things ready for summer school and take some leadership roles in that, and that will give you some good hours with internship then. So I will tell you this and I said I wasn't going to say anything about it, but I will tell you. Now, as you're looking at your 603 things, one of the things that is going to be required is you have to, and Dr. Lamb will talk about this, but you have to do a lot with the master schedule. You may want to go ahead and talk to your administrator now, because I know that they're having to begin because of Power School. Power School requires them to go ahead and begin looking at that now. You may ask, when you do that, can I at least listen what's going on? Can I be in that meeting to know what's going on? So you can go ahead and get some front knowledge about that. And then any opportunity that you can get to help or at least know what's going on with that master schedule will help you tremendously this summer. Go back and look under week 14, those things that especially the discussion board activities. There's one for every week, and you need to begin looking at those, and you need to be unpacking things that you need to ask for. Those things that you're going to have to ask for and begin. And that's why you need to go ahead and knock the AAPTEL out so you can go ahead and get this over and get started on that as well. Okay.
We've got one more question,
Sure.
Faralina. What if we're not assigned to our school? Faralina, unmute yourself and talk a little bit about that question for me, if you don't mind.
He said, hi, Dr. Simmons
Hey.
said that for summer, for the summer camp initiative, that would be time for, a good time for internship hours, but we may not be assigned. I know that I may not be assigned to my school. My school may not be a, summer camp school, neither will my principal.
And that's okay. If you get permission, if you can work somewhere where there is summer school, get permission as long as it's in your district. Get permission from your principal, and if they will allow you, then you can work in your district at another school in the summer and get internship hours under somebody else.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome.
And Tanya, you've got a question about how does being an 11-month employee affect us during the summer semester with assignments? Go ahead and unmute yourself and elaborate on that just a little bit. We can't hear you, Tanya.
She's having problems with the computer microphone. Can summer internship hours come from work outside of the school setting? No, it has to be. It has to be approved by your administrator, and it has to be inside your school district. It cannot be a district outside of your school district. It can be at another school in your district if your principal and the principal from that school agrees that you can do some things there, but it cannot be outside of your school district.
So I was asking within the school district, but in the summertime, I have a major caseload of my central office assignments. Can that be included as my internship hours? We have master schedules, we have PD schedules. It's just the overwhelming amount of logistical stuff that has to be done for the upcoming school year.
As long as it's administrative type
Yes.
things, just make sure that you still have a diversity of things, and don't let it all be, just in one or two areas. Just make sure there's a diversity there, but you can use as much as you can. You can
Okay.
use a portion of what you have to do there, because that would be what you would normally be doing no matter what.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Okay, other questions? These are good questions.
I have a question. We don't run our virtual program over the summer, but I do work with the state virtual program, Virtual SC, and all of our students who take summer courses do that during the summer. And then I gather the grade reports and help report it back to the school for recording to the transcript. Would that be
works,
something
Jenna. That works. Yeah, and your situation is a little unique anyway, but you're still working with, it's your district, but in a different way.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions? Okay. Well, Dr. Revis, anything in closing? Because I don't want to hold them, because I know that there's things that they can be working on and finishing up on at this point.
No, just have a good week, and let's get these things pulled together and get them off your plate.
Again, we are very proud, and please, we're asking, Dr. Revis and I really enjoy that last class for those that will show up and talk with us. it's very informal, but we just like to talk to you. You know, it's our last time that we may be talking to you. So, you know, please join with us and let's at least be able to say goodbye. Okay.
And please think about sharing something that you've learned or a good takeaway from your first semester. And we also want to hear what you think about what we could do differently for the next group of students we have. But we'd like to hear what your big takeaway from this program has been this first semester.
Now, when you tell us that you want us to do this differently, it might be a non-negotiable, though. We might have to say thank you, but we can't control that. So just there's some things out of our locus of control. But again, we're welcome to any suggestions that you have. Okay. Well, good
Thank you so
night,
much for your
everybody.
time.
Thank you, and y'all have a good night. Call us if you need us.
Have a
Okay,
good
night.
evening.